think kids are dumb. I think that they latch on to these things, and they understand the themes.
There needs to be better guidelines for parents when it comes to movies.
There's a certain point where we kind of have to just, know our kid and go to the ratings and really kind of make an educated guess as to what we think that's going to be.
There's that upset because
so
my
for
son
me,
is
I don't really
You can't go by previews. The previews lie to you.
Hey guys, it's Rebecca Woolf from Girls and Love Child, and today I like to talk about cinema. My husband and I took Archer to see Up 2 weeks ago. We'd heard wonderful things about it. It was this great movie, so beautiful. It's gonna win an Oscar for Best Movie of the Year, and it's animated so you can take your kids, and it's a lot of fun. Everything about that movie is representative of death and what happens when we die or what happens before we die. Archer pretty much screamed throughout the movie. For a 4-year-old, it's not appropriate.
Rebecca, it's really funny you bring up this topic because just a few days ago, I actually went to go see Up with a girlfriend of mine and our 2 daughters, and both of our daughters are 5. My kid was riveted, was just into it, eating her popcorn and just couldn't get her face off the screen. Her daughter was horrified.
I think you have to kind of know your own kid and what they can deal with and what kind of phase they're going through. Henry went through a really big phase where he was kind of obsessed with death, like really talked about it a lot. And I found movies where there was some sort of death or even just a transition. It was helpful to us to kind of talk through that stuff.
Essentially, we're robbing them of innocence, but maybe that's what we're supposed to be doing. Maybe we're supposed to be introducing them to these subjects that they wouldn't normally be thinking about, like death. In fact, I could only think of one Disney film where the mother didn't either die, wasn't evil, or didn't exist, and that was The Lion King. I think there's a mother in that movie.
Right, they didn't kill off the mom, but they killed off the dad, remember? And not only did they kill off the dad, like, if I remember correctly, they made the lion cub feel like it was his fault. Like, so death and guilt.
I think kids are less innocent than we think, and I think they, about death and about abandonment, I think they have a lot of fears. So they play act those fears and they watch them in movies and they read about them in books, and I think that's a way of working through some of those fears. That said, I will not let Henry watch Bambi because it would make me cry.
Growing up, I always figured if it's a cartoon, it's for me as a kid. We weren't able to watch films that weren't animated when we were little. Like, we watched Mary Poppins and things, but like my parents were so, like, the whole rating system thing, I didn't watch a PG-13 movie until I was over 13.
The rating system that I find really useful, actually I discovered on Netflix, but it comes from Common Sense Media. Common Sense Media will give you a lot of information, like, here's the scariest scene, and here's how women are portrayed, and it kind of goes through all these different categories. I find that that's a lot more useful than G or PG. It means nothing to me.
As long as movie companies kind of let us know beforehand what we're about to see, like, with the ratings, the PG and that sort of stuff, in a way it's sort of caveat emptor, let the buyer beware. There's a certain point where we kind of have to just, know our kid and go to the ratings and really kind of make an educated guess as to what we think that's going to be.
I felt a little bit tricked into going to the movies, thinking it was light fare, watching the previews, seeing the ads, and thinking this was a film that was for my kid, and it wasn't. And I guess my question to you is, do you have this experience too, with films for your kids, or do you think that I'm insane?
The conversation is happening now at Momversation.com.